Good haircut. So today is a big day, as they say, or it is an important day, as I say. I'm ready to stick the transmission into the car. Whether I can do it or not today or this evening, we'll have to see. But I'm ready for it, I think. So we'll start here. There's the transmission right there, just sitting and waiting. I have the rear brace attached, the flex disc and the shifter arm also attached. I think that makes sense to do it this way. The slave clutch cylinder is attached. I forgot to put the bracket on that lower bolt of the cylinder. That's alright. I got the clutch fork and the throwout bearing. Everything seems to be the way it should be. So I also got my transmission jack. This is a regular jack with the transmission plate. The engine itself, I'm going to crank the engine. Well, I guess I'm going to crank the front side of the engine, the front end of the engine up as far as I can. What else am I going to break? Still flexy. I'm tilting the engine this way so it's easier to actually get the transmission on. Ready or not, but I have to do it. It's time to really get all these things together, so let's try. So step number 2. I got the transmission on the jack, on my transmission jack, and while it's going up I need to kind of maneuver it so it lines up with the tunnel and what else? So it lines up with the tunnel and lines up with the flywheel and the clutch. That's the idea. So I suppose to go like this. Yeah, it makes sense. I need to have the jack running along the Yep, that's what I will do. So the transmission is up all the way and it's right there. There's about 2 inches gap left, but that's the most difficult 2 inches out of all this job. It seems like the splines are actually engaging. I'm almost there. What does it want from me now? That's exactly the situation when my car is trying to be difficult with me. So I have progress. I think what the problem was my clutch, because it was extended out and I pre-filled it with brake fluid and then I plugged it. The clutch, the throwout bearing was extended all the way out and that didn't let me, well, I guess the throwout bearing was actually sitting against the fingers on the pressure plate and that's what was keeping me from being able to push the transmission all the way to the engine. And when I unplugged the cylinder, it went far enough and now I can put a couple of bolts here and I can install the rear transmission mount brace. Bolt a couple of them so at least I can pull it together. Thumbs up, we have the transmission mated to the engine and that's a significant milestone, I guess. Yeah, let's get some bolts, let's get the rear transmission brace mount attached and that way I can have the jack out of free it up and I can use it for some other things. So this bolt goes here. Aha, that is the thing. My clutch keeps going, I guess. Well, bolts are coming. Dowels should also line up, I guess, at this point. I think they are lining up. I probably should get my electric ratchet. I think at this point I can actually, I think I can attach this and have a couple of bolts at least holding it in place. So here's an epic moment. The transmission jack is going down and the transmission is supported in place by itself. Well, it's staying in place by itself. It's supported by the mounting points. So the next thing that I had to do, or that I did, was connecting this master cylinder, clutch master cylinder hose to the brake. So there isn't really anything special about it. It's basically, there's a fitting on this side similar to this fitting on this side. I don't know what that one is for. That's really interesting. This side has the same fitting like that, has a sort of a this thing at the end where they, I guess, melt the plastic and just it's plugged. So basically just cut this off. Just make sure you have something under to catch the brake fluid. You either drain the container so the brake fluid is below the fitting level wise, or you just do it quickly and push this hose over the fitting once you cut this plug off. On the bottom it's pretty straightforward. There is this hose. So the rigid part of this hose connects to the master clutch cylinder. This is the clutch slave cylinder. So there is the clutch delay valve, this loop. For some reason they have this, don't know what it does, and the slave cylinder just, and now I have to bleed this basically. So this is the fitting for bleeding procedure. It's all plastic, so have to be careful. Also, here's the shifter. I suppose, I'm not sure if I will lower the transmission. Yeah, I ran into problems with those bolts that apparently are longer on manual transmission, and I had a bit of a problem. Yeah, so this is the shifter. I attached everything except for the bushing that I have to push in and lock in place when I'm ready. Moving on to other things.